Again, my name is Ken Jocelyn. For those of you guys that I don't know, which most of you guys I do, man, honored, number one, that you're here tonight. Excited about our new Grow Stack Drive brand, which we'll be kind of revealing over the next 6 weeks. We're going to be doing a series of webinars. We're super stoked to be able to add value to you guys. I know there's a lot of 10X community here I have relationship with. So I just want to take a minute real quick and introduce the team. Rebecca Black is the one you see in the striped shirt that's waving at you. Rebecca is our team lead. Rebecca is over the overarching Ken Jocelyn group, which consists of Ken Jocelyn Team, which is my real estate company, Jocelyn Coaching, which is my Grant Cardone licensee in our coaching business, as well as our Grow Stack Drive brand, which is our podcast, our upcoming podcast, our conference, our one-day conference. This is going to be in Atlanta with myself, my good friend David Pollock, and Richie Dolan, as well as our mentorship program that we'll be rolling out real quick. Nate May is a good friend of mine. Nate and I met 20 years ago. I walked into a John Maxwell event in Chicago, Illinois. And is it 20 years ago? I know, right, bro? 20 years ago.
I don't look that old, man. I look way too young for that.
I walked into a John Maxwell event 20 years ago and saw this young cat on the stage. Nate was actually traveling with John at the time. He was emceeing all of John's events and pitching cassette tapes. Some of you guys remember cassette tapes?
Not 8-track, cassette, folks. Not 8-track, the cassette tapes.
He was pitching the cassette tapes. I met Nate. I walked up to talk to him because he was super sharp and just said, "Hey, dude, man, my name's Ken. I live in Georgia." And we found out we lived about 10 minutes from each other. So we started a relationship. And even to the point when I was a mortgage broker in Georgia for about 8 years, his wife actually was one of my LOs at one of my offices that I had. So real good friend. Nate, if you want to take just a couple seconds and kind of define your role, tell everybody a little bit what you do for Ken Jocelyn Group, man.
No, well, number one, thanks for everybody joining. I mean, it's always great to start new things. New beginnings are, to me, always fascinating. It's fun to start something, begin something, because that's where the fuel begins. And I know tonight we're talking about passion. And this all birthed out of Ken's passion to really serve and help people. And this is not just something that Ken started today or yesterday or a couple weeks ago promoting this webinar. It started literally back when Ken was younger. And I've had a chance to, and Ken's not that you're old, Ken. You look better than you've ever looked, brother. But it started just with him and I just connecting over coffee and just understanding each other's desire to serve and help others grow into their full potential and stack the odds in their favor and help them drive massive results. And I've just had the honor and privilege to be able to help Ken get this off the ground. I run a business development firm that specifically works with speakers and authors and talent like Ken to help them get that going. And when Ken invited me to be a part of tonight, it was a no-brainer. And I said yes. And I know some of us are waiting for David Pollock to jump on. Good news is David's going to be joining us, but he's a good friend of both Ken and I.
Something I want to show you guys. I know we've got some people that know Davey. Obviously David's on College Game Day. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Nate and my team doesn't even know I'm going to do this, but I was texting back and forth with Davey earlier, and I want you guys to see this. If you're a college football fan, this is going to make a lot of sense to you. So let me know if you guys can see, and let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So everybody is good on my screen, correct? Everybody's good. If you guys will type in the chat, Rebecca, we're good on that. I want to share this with you guys.
We can see it.
Can you see Davey right there?
Sure can.
And can you guys hear it when I play it? That's going to be the kick.
Let's see.
Basketball duties. I said, you know what? We may as well bring
this
in the
happened
host of
about
college
3 or 4 hours
ago.
ago.
Reese Davis to talk a little college ball. And you're accustomed to doing this with David Pollock, so fire away.
Well, I think there's something that David will probably agree with me on here. David, as you look at this right now, we just celebrated the 150th anniversary of college football, right? So we're about to embark on the next 150 years, and we certainly want to make it as memorable as possible. We're about to make some announcements right now. So on behalf of the National Football Foundation Honors Court and the College Football Hall of Fame, I'd like to congratulate you on being a member of the 2020 College Football Hall of Fame class.
My man.
Thank you very much. First team All-American.
This was a total surprise, guys. It happened to me. I had no idea what was going on.
Two-time SEC Player of the Year, third in history in sacks. His resume is impeccable and well deserving of this honor.
Y'all are sneaky, huh? Bringing in RD, making an announcement. I hear y'all.
We're
Talking Dave.
Hey!
Oh, wow.
Oh man, the kiddos. Let's go.
Wow. Awesome. I don't know if y'all ripped my earpiece out.
Look at Lindsay too.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you.
What's up?
I'm like, yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
so
did not
cool,
know this was
calm and
coming.
collected.
I know, it's the whole fam.
Okay, you and I have talked about this over. How cool is that? That football is the moment you see David's mom and dad there, his wife Lindsay, Nicholas and Leah,
I don't think I can hear anything
his
anymore.
children. You know, this is a moment. David is one of the most down to earth, most unaffected guys that I ever know. But very few people can have moments like this and not be affected at all. So if we have David's earpiece fixed back yet, David, your earpiece back yet?
Okay, I just wanted to share that with you guys really quick, dude. That is for those of you guys that know David or have been around David or watched college football. David is as down to earth guy. Nate and I. So I actually got a text earlier today that David wasn't going to be making it. I didn't know why he wasn't going to be making it until I got that video a little bit ago. So he actually got surprised and was elected into the College Football Hall of Fame today.
Big deal.
Dude, I literally today he was texting Nate and I back. I got emotional just a while ago because of one of the things that's super important to me, guys, in our whole brand, our overarching brand is the DNA and the people that we do life with and that we do business with. And one of the things you guys will see over a period of time, and I think one of the things that I hope you guys have seen so far in my life is really an authenticity and a genuineness to help people and to add value to people. And one of the things that really moves me about Davey is we've been friends for about 10 years, and I had no idea. Today I'm literally looking like, oh my gosh, David's not going to be on our thing today. What's going on? What's going on? And because obviously he didn't know because it was a surprise, and they live announced him on ESPN today. And so Lindsay, his wife, is just like, hey, by the way, this is what's going on today. So this is why David's not going to be there. So just a phenomenal time for Davey today. He'll be on next week. He'll be on a lot with us. Davey will be one of our keynote speakers in Atlanta when we do our event. Super excited about that. So listen, I want to get started, guys. We're gonna hold fast to our time. And what I would like to do at the very end, I know we can't see everybody. We did a webinar version tonight. Next week, we will do the Zoom call version because we were not aware that we could not see everybody on video, and community is super important to us. But I want to start real quick by we were going tonight as we talk about Grow, Stack, Drive, and we talk about really impacting our day. We were going to talk about two things tonight. We're going to talk about perfect effort, but really that's Davey's message. And that's actually going to be a book that Davey's going to be writing in the future. David was going to talk about perfect effort. I was going to talk about passion. So if you want to take notes, I want to share a little bit about passion today and add value to you guys. And I want to talk about 4 things that passion does in our life. The first thing passion does, people that are passionate add value to other people. And literally and that's the one thing, that's why I showed the video today for you guys, was to see Davey's response of being elected into the College Football Hall of Fame. He's the 15th member or 15th person from the University of Georgia to be elected, and there's about 900 or 1,000 out of the tens of thousands of people that have played college football. And to be honest with you, he walks in such a level of humility. I mean, I've been to game day with Davey. I've been to all the big games with Davey. And literally when we're done on stage, he's ready to go home and hang out with the guys. And people that are passionate love to add value to people. And so what I want to talk about a couple things tonight about adding value. We're not on tonight. This isn't going to be very salesy tonight. We're not pitching something to you tonight. We do have some things that we think can add value to you down the road, and we'll talk about those in a few weeks. But we really just want to add value. Our team is sold on adding value to people. We've got 7 people on my real estate team currently. We do a Zoom meeting call with my team every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. And some of you guys that are actually on this call, several of my guys in my accountability group throughout the country are on this call. Some of the people that I coach for my Jocelyn Coaching Company, business owners around the country, I've shared those Zoom links. One of the things I tell our team all the time, here's one thing, I don't know if you saw my picture last week, but this past week I was awarded this Virtual Properties All-Star Trophy or award or whatever you want to call it, for being in the $225,000 to $250,000 range. I did $8 million in revenue in real estate last year without spending one single penny on advertising. I guarantee you there are maybe a handful of agents. We have 3,725 agents, and I finished number 8 in our entire country in single agents and not having a team. We're actually building a team now. But one of the things that I tell my team all the time is this: if you will not look at individuals as clients or transactions, but you'll look at them as people that you can add value to and help through the process of purchasing or selling a home, you will make more money than you ever know what to do with. Hands down, you will make more money than you ever know what to do with. I did right at $8 million this year and grossed about 227,000, I think was my numbers this year, literally without spending one penny on advertising, not one single penny, because I have, through a period of years, built relationships with people through social media, through just relationships in different activities in my community, through my church, through officiating high school and college basketball, through officiating high school and college baseball, and just constantly adding value to people. So passionate people, number one, add value to people. And I'm going to give you some pragmatic steps and some things that you can do every day that I do every single day of my life. One of the first things I do in the morning when I get up is I do a reading plan on YouVersion. It's a Bible app on my iPhone. I do a reading plan on my family. I do that the very first thing when I get up in the morning. As I grab that, I go through that. Second thing I do is brush my teeth. Somebody give me a shout out right there on brushing your teeth, being the second thing that you do every day. And then the third thing I do is I grab my phone or my MacBook and I go on my social media and I look to see whose birthday it is. I do not miss a day on basically it's so important to me that I have, and this is how quick it is, I have shortcuts built into my phone and my MacBook. When I type in HB, it automatically says happy birthday, ... exclamation point. If I type in HA for happy anniversary, it automatically does happy anniversary, exclamation point. I've got shortcuts built into my phone, so I literally can go on my MacBook or on my iPhone and literally tell it's usually 13 to 20 some odd people a day. I've got right at 40, I think I'm about out 5,000 relationships on Facebook right now. Literally, if it's somebody's birthday, Facebook puts it on your homepage every day. Take 2 minutes a day. Passionate people add value. Take 2 minutes a day. Literally find those birthdays and add value. Another thing that I do is like on our Cardone U Connect, as we begin our mentorship program, obviously we'll have our own private Facebook page. I am constantly being an encourager. Listen, passionate people add value. One of the ways we do that is we encourage people. Be an encourager. This is what I tell the people all the time on my team when I pastor churches or with the businesses that I've owned. I've said this. I've said, listen, when you walk in a room, are you the type of person that people flock to, move towards, or are you the type of person that people move away from? You literally want to be the type of person that when you walk in a room, people gravitate towards you. And you can tell people who add value and encourage people, adding value through encouraging people, you can tell those kind of people because when they walk in a room, do people get around them? Dude, Antonio White, the pitch freak, is on our call tonight. We were just super honored to be some of the first 12 of our mentors back on December the 9th. They got invited to go down to the 10X headquarters. And I'll never forget sitting in that group of 12 mentors that day, literally listening to Antonio share his story, and he got choked up that day. And I was sitting there, I'm looking at him, I'm like, dude, I love this guy. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. I'm digging the whole salt and pepper beard thing he's got going on in the clear rim glasses. He looks really cool. But dude, I see this guy's heart. Like, I can tell This guy right here absolutely loves people, and he loves to add value to people. And those of you guys that were at GrowthCon this year, you saw just the dozens and dozens of people that were around Antonio all the time, because he adds value to people. Listen, passionate people add value to other people. They are constantly adding value to other people. So find ways. How can I, when I get up in the morning, how can I add value to people? And how can I be an encourager? How can I encourage people? Literally, the word encouragement means to add courage to. It's literally when we speak words of affirmation or words of encouragement to people, what happens is literally we add courage to them. It is like fuel to their fire. It is literally like wind in people's sails. So passionate people add value. The second thing that passion does is passion attracts the right people. When you are a passionate individual and literally the goals that you have literally are just consume you, and people get around you, they can tell when you're passionate. And passionate people attract the right people on your team. If you're a business owner, and this is what I tell every business owner that I have coached or mentored for, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur and a pastor for 24, 25 years now, about half and half, and I've coached probably a half a dozen to 8 or 9 business owners and another half a dozen or more pastors. What I tell them all the time is, listen, if you're passionate, people will want to be around you. Rebecca's on our call today. It's really cool. I met Rebecca probably about a month and a half ago. It was the third week in January. I met her at dinner one Sunday night, and I was just like, dude, man, this chick she is sharp. She's passionate. She's involved. She's engaging. And literally, Nate and I had a conversation 4 days later. I'm sitting in a meeting with her going, hey, listen, I need you to come work with me. Here's what we're doing. And I just shared with her, I just cast a passionate vision for Ken Joslin team and the Joslin coaching and our Growth Stack Drive brand, everything. Yeah, she literally, there's a Post-it note behind her right there that we went, her kids were sick. And she was like, Ken, I know we're supposed to meet today at a coffee shop, but my kids are sick. I got to stay at home. I walked in her house, put a giant Post-it note up, and literally passionately explained the vision that was in my heart for these 3 different business ideas that I had, and the one business, that I was already seeing a pretty decent amount of success in, and even scooped macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets for her kid that day. Like, listen, passionate people attract the right people. If you're looking to build your team, listen, I promise you, if you will find some fuel for your passion, you will attract the right team. One of the guys that's on the call tonight, Christian Gomez, is a super friend of mine. As a matter of fact, Christian, I'm gonna unmute you really quick. Christian and I literally just had a conversation yesterday about this. Christian is a business owner. We went to boot camp together, and this guy's like one of my brothers. He lives in California near San Diego. He owns his own. He literally walked away from boot camp and started his own business. Walked out of a job making, Christian, what were you making? High 6 figures, $150,000,
Yes.
$175,000 a year. Dude, he was crushing it, and walked away from that to start his own business. And one of the things we talked about over the past couple of weeks in him as he's adding to his team is, Christian, let's be passionate. The more passionate you are going to attract the right people on your team. So passion adds value. Passion attracts the right people. The third thing passion does, guys, is passion takes risks. You guys, if you have been in our mentorship calls with Grant over the past few months, it's become almost and even in our smaller meetings at 10X headquarters with the licensees or with our mentors, Grant's constantly asking me, he goes, Ken, tell me your story. Ken, tell me your story. Ken, tell me your story. And let me tell you something. I'll give you a brief overview. I walked into boot camp in October, having only known Grant for about 10 days on Instagram. Signed up for the mentorship the Monday before, walked into boot camp, and literally something happened on the inside of me that I told Grant on December the 9th, and those of you guys that were there that day, you'll remember, I said, Grant, the only thing I can tell you from my perspective of spending 12 years in full-time ministry is the businessman on the inside of me got born again at boot camp. It's something just ignited on the inside of me. And dude, there was just this overwhelming passion for me and vision for these businesses that really had been already placed in my heart, but just through those 10X principles had taken those things literally to another level. But I tell you the one thing, Grant and I have had a few one-on-ones, just where we had one-on-one conversations for about 10 or 15 minutes. And the one thing that he's told me, he said, Ken, it's not the success. I was about $100,000 the first 10 months of the year. I made $129,000 the last 2 months of the year, and we booked about $112,000 the first 5 to 6 weeks already of this year. With the potential with some of the proposals that we have in our coaching business to easily do another 100,000 this month. But this is what Grant told me. He goes, Ken, it's not just the business success that I love about what you're doing. He said, but it's your willingness to put that back in play and take a risk. And I literally, guys, that $129,000 I made the last 2 months of the year, I spent every penny of it. Every penny of that money we've spent. We're taking 7 people off of our team to Miami to boot camp this year. I invested personally. I invested in new agents who haven't even started in the real estate field yet. I said, listen, I've got to get you to Miami for this boot camp. I will buy all the tickets. What did we spend, Rebecca? $25,000? Right at $20,000, $25,000, getting people to boot camp because I know the impact that it's going to have. So passionate people add value. Passionate people attract the right people. Passionate people take risks. I don't know what kind of Christian Gomez, dude, he took a freaking risk, man. He stepped out of a comfortable job, making a very good salary. Literally, we came home for boot camp. Christian, how long did it take you to quit and start your own company after boot camp?
I only lasted 3 more days, and then I had to just make the move.
3 days. He lasted 3 days. And him and his wife.
I quit on Halloween. I started the company November 1st.
So literally a week after we walked out of boot camp, he took risks. Guys, listen, I don't know where you're at right now in your business, but can I encourage you for this? Take some risks. You have to take risks. I mean, there literally is, it literally seems like we've got money coming in from my main revenue stream, which is my real estate company. We're scaling and building our team, which literally is going to give us, and I tell our team all the time, listen, we turn the faucet on in April-ish, and our leads start coming in and everything starts rolling. Guys, listen, we're going to be moving at a level that you've never moved at. But passionate people take risks. We tell our team we just hired how many new agents this week? 2 new agents what was the girl's name? Kristen was the one we just hired this week. I met with her. She makes $85,000 a year working for
Salesforce.
She works for Salesforce, 80 to 85 grand. And we met and had coffee for about an hour one day last week. Dude, she left and she was like, I'm so fired up. She goes, literally, I'm ready to run through a freaking wall, is what she told me. But here's the deal. She's going to have to take a risk to walk away from that kind of money to be able to make even more money. It's a risk. So the fourth thing I want to say about is this. If you're sitting there and you're saying, Ken, listen, I'm not very passionate. And some people would even say, listen, like your personality is different. And you're right. Like I do have a high D, high I personality. If you've ever done the DISC profile, who guessed, right? What's my Enneagram, Rebecca? A 7. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram, and I'm an encourager. I'm a believer. There's a couple, 2 or 3 other things on Strength Finders. A starter, I think, or an igniter is one of the ones on Strength Finders. So naturally, that is easy for me. For some of you guys, that may not be easy because it may not be your personality. So I would revert back to point number 3, that passionate people take risks and take a step. But I would tell you this, and I've been fortunate to be in some rooms with some really amazing people over the past 25 years, but really some really amazing people over the past several months. And the one thing that I've learned is if I don't have enough passion, it's because my goals aren't big enough. If I don't have enough passion, it's because my goals aren't big enough. And some of you guys may have seen on my Instagram feed or on my Facebook feed, my quote that says, if I need an alarm clock to get out of bed, my goals aren't big enough. And literally, guys, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This morning, I was up at 4:40. I stayed up for about 45 minutes. I did my quiet time. I did some of my social media stuff saying happy birthday, everybody. I did lay back down for about 45 minutes before I left to go to the gym about 6 or 6:15 a.m. So the 4 things I just wanted to touch on real quick. And then what I want to do, if we can, Rebecca, if you and Nate could go through and open everybody up so that they can talk. I would love to, if you've got a question, I'd love for you to go ahead and put it in the text. For those of you guys that don't know, you jumped on late and obviously you can't see everybody. We actually did this in a webinar format, not knowing that. In a webinar format, only the presenters can see on video. Next week, when we do this and send out the invite, we will do this as just a normal Zoom call so everybody can kind of see everybody and we can get the community, I think, is a lot stronger. And I'll say this, one of the things that we're doing in our one-day Growth Stack Drive Disrupt Your Day conference that's coming to Atlanta in the next few months, we're actually going to be doing it in circles. So we have 6 days of 6 people because we believe that entrepreneurs and business owners are made and grown in circles, not rows, because we believe relationship is what helps us grow. And you hear Grant say this all the time, iron sharpens iron. It's actually Proverbs 17:17 or 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so a brother sharpens the countenance of his friend. And it really is a biblical principle, but it is a business principle as well. And even on this call today, in my group, I know I've got Christian Gomez, I've got Devin Bullard, I've got TJ Cummings, I've got John Karageorge. I think Coach Tom Austin. I'm not sure if Tom was going to be able to make it on today or not. And then I've got one more. I'm missing somebody. Sean. Oh my goodness, I'm missing somebody. Oh, I can't even remember now.
Sean Cohen.
Sean Cohen. Thank you very much, Christian. Sean Cohen as well. And guys, these are people that are freaking crushing it in business right now. And we literally, and I'll tell you one of the things that happened with me was we got on a call, how many days before GrowthCon, Christian? 3 days, 4 days before GrowthCon? It was a Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every day, but yeah, just about 2-3 days before GrowthCon.
Just asked a question to everybody. He goes, okay, guys, what are your goals going into GrowthCon? What do you want to walk away from? Well, I was sitting there going, I don't have any goals, like, right? And so they are hammering me. Christian and TJ are like, well, dude, you're the goal guy. You're the guy that teaches people to have goals. You're the guy that says if you don't have enough, if you have to have an alarm clock, your goals aren't big enough. And literally, it was an iron sharpening iron moment for me where I said, okay, this is what I want to do. So we had the goal plan 4 new coaching clients and $100,000 when we walked away from GrowthCon, and we're probably going to be very close to hitting that goal. And that would not have happened had it not been for the relationships that we had built. So, questions, guys. Anybody have a question? Have we got everybody unmuted?
Ken, I need you to unmute it because you're the host.
Oh, I can't do it. Okay, I did not know that. Okay, well, let's do this real quick.
We're going to learn this webinar thing all together.
Yes, if you guys have questions, guys, and I want to real quick, Andy Mack, have I unmuted you yet, my friend? Let me get down to my man Andy Mack right here.
You unmuted us, Ken. I'm unmuted.
Allowed to talk, allowed to talk, allowed to talk. Questions, guys. Hey, let's take about 2 or 3 minutes to do a little Q&A, and then we will we're gonna call tonight. And again, we're just honored that you guys were here tonight.
Also, you muted him. No, we're muted now. It says mute. No, we're talking. No, look, it's easy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Who's this? C-Rock.
Hey, I hear C-Rock.
What's up, my friend?
Hey, this is C-Rock. I just got unmuted, and I want to first of all congratulate you, Ken, on this call tonight. You sound freaking fabulous. You sound awesome, fired up. I appreciate you so much, and I'm really proud of seeing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate it. And guys, let me tell y'all something real quick. This is one thing that Mikey and I have talked a lot about.
Come here.
specific is you guys, literally Mikey's, I was in the mortgage business, Mikey's in the mortgage business now. We literally are doing a lot of the very same things. And guys, and this is when I talked about passionate people add value. Here's one of the things that I want you to understand is this. I promote Mikey's stuff almost as much as I promote my own stuff because I want Mikey to win. Because if I help him win, guess what's going to happen with you guys? I'm going to win. I'm going to win. So Mikey, dude, I appreciate that. I appreciate those kind words, dude. Excited about what you're doing. Super excited about what you're doing, Antonio, what Antonio's got going on. And this is the one thing I love about this community. And as this community grows, as I run with, my Grow Stack Drive brand, as Mikey runs with his Waymo brand, as Antonio runs with his Pitch Street brand, literally what we're doing is we're creating communities inside of communities where literally everybody's looking and not just looking for people, but having a desire for people to win at a high level. Oh, guess what?
And this what's going to happen, guys, just so everybody knows, I'm already foreshadowing some things. But in our community, we're going to be able to put on an event with all of us together.
Yes.
And it's going to be massive.
Yep.
Because we're going to be, a brotherhood is forming here.
Oh.
Oh, guess what I just wanted to do? Take you guys.
Hey!
There you go. So anyway, guys, some Q&A. What I'm doing is I'm going down through here and making everybody a panelist so everybody can see everybody. We've got about 30 or 35 people on the call right now. So I'm just going to promote everybody to panelists, and then that way everybody can see everybody.
All right, no talk.
Questions, guys?
Congrats, Ken, on this. Love you, brother. Love the leadership. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
I appreciate that, buddy. I do appreciate that.
Looks like you took it off of webinar mode.
Well, no, what happened is I'm going out here clicking everybody to promote the panelist. So if I make you a panelist, then everybody can see your videos. It's just taking me a minute to get down through here and get 35 or 40 people or whoever we have on this call. We're rolling down through here, buddy.
Hey, Ken, while you're rolling, this is Nate. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, guys, one of the things that I know Ken always talks about is purpose and passion. People always ask the question, what's the difference between purpose and passion? I think there's some practicality of like the 10X principles and how they fuel us and the goals we write every morning. But the reality is, what's the difference between passion and purpose? The reality is passion is what fuels your purpose. You don't wake up every morning like, what's my purpose? That'll happen in time. But what will happen is if you want to find your purpose, you have to literally fuel your passion. And you'll learn over time that passion is really this deep part of you that really stems usually from pain. Like a lot of us on this call, we've not just arrived here on this call, 10X goals, we want to do our best, live our best. But if I sat down with each one of you, which I've done with Ken and all my clients I've done in the past, and I said, what's your story? Where did you come from? How did you grow up? How did you arrive where you're at today? What you literally find usually is there's some pain that lives within you that literally you're either working through or you found your way through or you're literally still trying to find your way through. But that pain typically really is what your passion is. And if you can literally isolate that pain, what you've been through, where you're going, what you want to accomplish, what you'll literally find is inside of that pain, you'll find your passion, because what that passion and that pain gives you is authenticity. And that authenticity is that we have a lot of people talking now, guys, in the world today, lots of authors, speakers, everybody. Like today, guys, there's more content published today, literally today, blog posts, Instagram posts, whatever it might be, than in the history of the world. The history. It happens every freaking day. There's a lot of people speaking, but nobody has something to say. And when you listen to Kim, what you really find is like what gravitates to you most to Kim, I know, is that there's this passion inside him. There's this authenticity in him. When he shares about his story, what he shares about, you really resonate with that. So I want to encourage everybody on here is like, when you're searching out what your purpose is, don't start with what my why is. First start, what is your pain? Because what you've been through in life, whether it's a rough childhood, a broken marriage, a loss of a loved one, a broken business, bankruptcy, all those things, what that'll ultimately lead you to, guys, is first, what is your passion, which ultimately is this, and you want to recover, you want to redeem, you want to restore what was lost. And when you find that, you'll ultimately find your purpose. So I want to encourage everybody down here, when you look at passion about adding value to others, adding value to people around you, whatever it might be, first, take the literally step to literally dig a little bit deeper into each of your souls, and to whether you're a believer or not, wherever you stand, it doesn't matter, guys. One thing that connects all of us on this call is pain. It's not even goals. It's not even money. What connects all of us on this call is pain. We've all been through it. So I want to help you all go like, hey, when you have some pain, whatever that might be, little, small, big, whatever you want to equate it to, find that pain. You ultimately find your passion. And when you find your passion, what passion ultimately does, guys, it fuels your purpose. Passion fuels your purpose. And there's a difference between passion and purpose. Passion is what fuels your purpose. And so just be encouraged, guys. I'm excited and honored just to be on this call. I've been a friend of Ken's for years. We've coached one another through, man, Ken, through the ups and downs, bros, through the highs and through the freaking scary ass lows. We've been there together. So just know, everybody on this call, wherever you stand, your 10X goals, all you're championing and all you're trying to accomplish, don't ever just set a goal, but your goal should be tied to almost, I believe with all my heart, there's a pain that your goal should be tied to, that I'm setting this goal because I want to make more money this year, because you know what? I freaking didn't make enough money last year and it broke my family. My goal is to be a better dad to my kids, because you know what? The last freaking 3 years, I was not a great dad to my kid. That's my goal. My next goal is that I want to add value to other people, because the last 3 years, I've only thought about adding value to myself. And when you do that, when you tie your freaking passion to your pain, I guarantee you, anybody you sit in front of and whatever you do will escalate your goals 10X anytime, twice on Sunday. It'll make people realize that you are meeting them right where they're at. It's authenticity. And people, you guys can't pay for authenticity. You can't create it. There's no money, no conference you can go to, no webinar you can attend. But your authenticity will really ultimately always drive from your pain.
Yeah, let me say something about that authenticity, guys. Let me tell you, if authenticity, if genuineness is something you struggle with, get around people who are authentic. Like I said earlier, and I got a little emotional when I showed David's video earlier when he got elected in the College Football Hall of Fame today. I got emotional because he sent, I'll just read it to you. He sent me a native text just a while ago. If I can find it now. He sent us a text. He said, "Thanks, homie," because I was just like, "Bro, congrats." And he texted me about 30 minutes before he hopped on. He said, "Thanks, homie. Stuff doesn't happen by accident. Man, God surrounded me with some unreal people. Didn't know until I got older, but there are at least 20 people that if they aren't in my life, this doesn't happen. I'm super thankful." And guys, those are the kind of guys you want to surround yourself with. You want to surround yourself with people who are authentic, man, people who are genuine, people that legitimately have a heart to add value to who you are and what you're doing, and will celebrate and be the biggest cheerleader in your corner, and they're fighting for you all the time, which is why C-Rock and I, which is like why Antonio and I, which is why Andy Mack, Andy's on my team. Andy's going to be one of our communicators. I've known Andy for about 10 years. Andy is
Andy Mack.
Hey.
Andy's an wholesaler and owns his own leadership consulting company. He's one of our coaches at Jocelyn Coaching. Phenomenal guy. Show him your hand, big boy.
Come on.
So
there he is. Oh, never mind. Don't show me that.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I told you 4 things passionate people do. Let me tell you the one thing passionate people don't do. They don't go to what's the guy's name? Raul what?
Raul Velasquez.
Yeah, you don't go to Raul Velasquez men's boot camp and fight a UFC fighter and break your hand and have surgery.
Hey, in all fairness, okay, we had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea what was coming. It was a 3.5-day leadership boot camp. We started the morning at 6 a.m. We were on a beach by 6:45. We were doing a Navy SEALs workout at 6:45. Now, if anybody knows anything about Navy SEALs, let me tell you, there's this thing called the sugar cookie, okay? Sugar cookie is also known as wet and sandy. Now, wet and sandy means I'm in Stamford, Connecticut. We are instructed to get into the Long Island Sound, which is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 38 degrees outside. We had to take our jackets off. We're in sweatpants, gym shoes, and T-shirts. We get into the Long Island Sound, and we get wet. Then we roll around in the sand. That, my friends, is called a sugar cookie. We then proceeded to do 2.5 hours of a Navy SEALs boot camp workout. We get blindfolded after that. We go on a bus. We end up in an industrial district. All I hear are machines, and I smell hydraulic fluid. We get off the bus. Then there's like this bang, bang, bang. And it's like somebody knocking on a hollow aluminum garage door. You hear the door go up. They tell us to get our blindfolds off. And I'm staring into a boxing gym with 2 professional UFC fighters, one named Vinny, the other named Chaco, both from Brazil.
Sounds right. Vinny and Chaco.
Vinny and Chaco. Now, we each had our chance to fight Vinny and Chaco. Now, the leadership lesson here is beautiful. It's beautiful because the whole idea is, hey, look, you get to get in the ring. Okay, I'm not a professional fighter. None of us were professional fighters. You get to get in the ring, face your fears, okay, get knocked down, which was inevitable, and then get back up, right?
Yes.
So I'm in the ring, and Vinny hits me twice in the head. And I have full headgear on. Vinny knocks me twice in the head, and it just flipped a switch. There's a switch that goes off. You become this primal, fight or flight, survive or die. And I was going to survive. And I found my space, and I popped Vinny with a left jab as hard as I could pop him. Now, Vinny was not wearing headgear because I don't think Vinny thought he was ever going to get hit. So I popped Vinny as hard as I could with my left hand, and I absolutely shattered my third left metacarpal, which is the hand bone for my ring finger in your hand.
Oh,
and my knuckle was displaced 7 centimeters down. My knuckle was gone, but I had to keep fighting. Vinny, after I hit him, he started bleeding out of his nose.
Yes.
Vinny went absolute. He went crazy on me, so when I say, like you're boxing, somebody gets knocked to the ground. I didn't get knocked to the ground. I got punched to the ground. Okay. Like I went down so hard, and my whole, the 5 other guys that I was with, they're like, come on, McMillan, get up, get up, get up. And I got up and I started fighting again. And I had no idea my hand was broken until after the fight. But it was an intense moment. It was great. And, that I'm telling you that, my friends, is to go in theme with Ken's message tonight, passion. It's all about passion.
I get a text message from Andy Mack with an x-ray of his hand with his pins and plates and screws. And I'm like, dude, because he told me he fought a UFC fighter. I didn't know about the hand until after I got the picture. So, hey guys, any Q&A? I'm going to let you guys, I will hang out for a couple more minutes. Any questions, guys, about passion or if you've got, if you're a business owner and you've got a business question, like, Ken, I'm struggling with an employee that's doing fill in the blank, or I'm struggling doing fill in the blank. We've got some unbelievable business owners on here. We'd love to be able to add value to you in any way that we can. Y'all must be all making $10 million a year.
Ken, I do have a question.
Russell, go ahead, sweetheart.
So I guess my dilemma is a little bit or what I need assistance in this question is that I work for a company and we're facing, and I'm not in a managerial position at all, but I am being asked to do several things that I feel like I have to give my honest opinion, but I don't want to hurt people in giving my honest opinion. But there's a couple of people in our team that are really underperforming, like extremely underperforming. And so I love your message about encouraging people, and I feel like I tend to do that, but that's not really addressing the problem. So in that scenario, when you see, and I'm not the only one who sees this underperforming, other people see it too. I'm not in a managerial position where I need to take any actions, but people are coming to me asking me, well, what do you think we should do? So I'm a little bit on the side of, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I for the good of the whole group, I don't want all of us to go down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I'll speak to one thing, and then I'm going to have Andy Mack speak on triangulation, and he'll smile because he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
There's one thing that would get you fired from my team, or even when I pastored, if you were on my staff. In the church, we call it gossip, and in business world, we call it triangulation. And I'll let Andy share that part, but let me jump on let me touch on what you mentioned. Are you in a supervisory role over any of these people?
I'm not in a little bit, meaning I'm a little bit more senior, but I'm not I'm not a department manager.
You're not your direct report.
Correct.
Yeah, that's super difficult. So I don't know if you're on the same level on an org chart as their direct report, and you could have a one-on-one with their direct report on how to best add value to them. Other than, this is a long-term play. This isn't a short-term play for you. Is just build a relationship with them enough to where they trust you to be able to speak into their life. Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you go into them and try to help bring correction or try to help even add value to maybe a weak point in their life, it's going to be, especially in today's culture, it's going to be super difficult for them to receive what you would have for them. If you're on, where are you at on the org chart with their direct report? Are you on the same level, or?
I'm on the same level, except that I've been in the company for a longer period, for more years, and so my supervisor, which is the same supervisor, and even their supervisors asked me to train them. They asked me to talk to them. They asked me to give my supervisors my honest feedback from when I'm working with them. And so I'm caught up in between. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And
okay.
So I'm
well, we're talking about business. So feelings are we're not necessarily concerned about hurting feelings, because two things. And I don't know if you've ever listened to Patrick Lencioni, but he's one of my favorite authors, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. He wrote a book called The Advantage. There's a podcast that he did with Ken Coleman on EntreLeadership. It's like number 79, or it's several hundred, but it's like in the 80s, 70s, or 80s. But he talks in there about having what we call last 10% conversations, and he talks about not having water cooler conversations. And water cooler conversations are the conversations that get had after a meeting at the water cooler, because everybody was afraid, because the culture wasn't healthy. It was toxic. They were afraid to ask those questions in a meeting. So what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would go, because you have a little window open, because if they've asked you to train these people, I would then go back to those same supervisors that asked you to train them and say, hey, are you okay? I trained Nate May. Are you okay if I go to Nate and sit down? There's some deficiencies there that I think I could add value to and help him walk through whatever that is. Are you okay if I have that conversation? And obviously they're probably going to give you that permission because they asked you to train them, so they trust you in what you know how to do. And that would be what I would do, I would just go ask for permission. Hey, are you okay if I talk with so-and-so? There's some things that I see that I think I can help them on. And then when I approach them, I would say, hey, listen, hey, Rosa, I just want to let you know, I talked with Nate, our supervisor, and since I trained you, he asked me, and I asked him, and he said it was fine for me to come talk to you. Hey, listen, I'd love to help you in some areas. And I would always, when I go to an employee like that, I would always ask them first, hey, where do you think you need some help at, in what areas? And see what their first initial feedback is. And then just got to speak the truth with grace. You got to speak the truth in love, because they're not going to get any better. You're not going to get any better. The team's not going to get any better. And ultimately, you're not going to make the money that you could make because they're on the team. And you could be keeping them from transitioning off the team and finding a role either somewhere else in the company or at a different company where their strengths and gift sets really can serve them to be able to do more and be more. Does that make sense?
Right.
So Andy, you want to hit the triangulation thing?
All right. So yeah, I'm going to hit the triangulation, but I'm going to give a squirrel and fish analogy real quick first. and I think this is really important, okay? Here's the deal. Some people who are squirrels, we're going to just use squirrels and fish, okay? Squirrels and fish. This is an analogy. It's an illustration. Some people are squirrels, some people are fish, okay? And the problem is when we get into the work world and we're asked to do a certain job, we're a squirrel, but we're asked to swim. And the problem with that is, look, I've got the gifts of a squirrel and I can't swim like a fish. Or we're a fish and we're asked, why can't we climb a tree like a squirrel? Okay. Well, I'm really trying. I keep trying. I just don't have the claws and the feet and the legs and the muscles like a squirrel does. And so then what happens is somebody gets put into a wrong position. It's not aligned with their giftedness. It's not aligned with their talents, and they get frustrated. And everybody around them gets frustrated. Then what happens is there begins this process called triangulation. Triangulation is you've got person A and person B, and there's an issue between person A and person B. But person A is so frustrated with person B, they don't actually talk to person B about it. They go and talk to person C. Okay, so now let's picture a triangle. We got A, we got B, and we got C. So A goes to C when they should have gone to B and said, hey, I'm really frustrated with your performance, or I'm really frustrated with the way you're acting, or I'm really frustrated with this. And so now we got this triangle. This is what's called triangulation. We're not doing straight dialogue. We're not being big boys and big girls. We don't have our big boy pants or big girl pants on. We're doing what is immature, okay? And we're going to person C and we're talking behind their back. That creates a toxic culture. It creates an absolutely toxic culture. Now, the best organizations that I've ever been a part of are the organizations that are committed to a positive culture. And if there's an issue, look, the leaders know, and everybody knows, look, if you've got an issue with person B and you're person A, you don't talk to me. You talk to person B. You address it straight on. And otherwise, we're going to have triangulation. We're going to have withholds. There's going to be toxicity in the culture. And that compounds. It compounds on itself. And then every other issue gets worse and worse and worse.
Rosa, Patrick Lencioni says he believes that 15% of organizations are healthy. That's all.
That's it.
You have to work as an organization. You have to, and it's not just you, but your management, your leadership has to make a decision on, we want to be a healthy organization. And I love one of the things that Pat says on that podcast with Ken, who used to also work with Nate at John Maxwell's office, is he says this. He goes, if you go into a healthy organization, into their staff meeting, there is tension when they make big decisions, and you would almost mistake that for argument. But when the meeting's over and they make a decision, they're all ready to go to lunch together.
Everybody's on the same page.
Because they understand that tension is a necessary, I'd say an evil, but a necessary part of making the right decision. One of the things we used to say, and we say at my leadership table all the time, is it's not about who's right, it's about what's right. I don't care who's right. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care. Now, I do care about your feelings, but it's not about who's right. It's about what's right. Like, what's the right thing for our organization? And that's what we're going to do. And listen, we're all big boys and big girls, and this is business. So in ministry, I spent half of the time in full-time ministry, half of it being a mortgage broker, and now owning a real estate team. Is the one thing that will get you fired immediately is, in the church world, obviously we call it gossip, and in the business world we call it triangulation. They get you fired immediately. You may, depending on what happens, you may get a warning. Now, how I handle that is, if somebody were to come to me and go, if Rosa came to me and said, hey, Ken, I'm really struggling with Rebecca. I said, whoa, stop. Have you talked with Rebecca? No, I haven't talked to Rebecca. Rosa, let me tell you something. There's nothing I can do to help solve the problem between you and Rebecca. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 24 hours to go have a conversation with Rebecca, or you and I are going to meet tomorrow, and I'm going to have to transition you off my team.
Hey, Ken.
Yes. Go ahead, Nate.
Can I flip? Let me flip it a little bit. Here's what I love, Andy Mack. I love what you said, Ken. I love what you said. I'm just going to flip this a little bit because I think applicable to all of us on this call is this: either we're leading from the front, we're leading our own organization, small, big, medium, or large. We're leading from the middle of the pack, or we're leading from the bottom. No, there's no question that all of us are leading. Can we all agree on that? Raise your hand. Are we all leading?
Yeah.
No matter what, we are all freaking leading. So what I would tell you is this: the credibility of a leader is never found in the answers they give. I'm going to write this down. The credibility of a leader is never found in the answers they give. The credibility is always found in the questions that a leader asks.
Oh, that's good.
So what I will encourage all of you is this: to the person that asked the question, I forgot your name, young lady. I'm sorry. Is this? I want to ask you this question. Inside of your current organization, what is your ambition? Do you want to go from where you're currently at to be in a management position? Do you want to go from where you're currently at to be a CEO of that company? What is your current ambition?
At this point, what I do is I'm a journalist. If I go up the chain of, I don't want to be a manager. I think that's a lot of something that I'm not interested in. I'd rather work with the story. So what I do is video production, and that alone, feeds my soul when I can actually work on longer term projects, be able to coordinate the reporting, be able to coordinate the interviews. If I could see my job develop into something really, really what I would find just excellent would be long form type of what I do. What I do is a lot of quick, fast news. What I'd like is to do those longer terms. That's inside of my company, but I also have dreams outside of my company, which is real estate investing.
So let me give you some practical advice. So it sounds like these people that are maybe mismanaging, not doing their task, underproducing, whatever that might be, they're your peers, correct?
Correct, yes.
So there's two options you really have right now, just so you know, like just practicality. Your two options, the position you're in, you have peers that are not performing at the level you think they should be performing. But by the way, you have no ability outside of your current influence, not an influential position. There's a difference. There's a difference between influential position and your current influence. Do we all get that? Raise your hand. Yeah. There's a difference between influential position and your current influence. So your current influence would say that these are your peers. So either you have two options. Either you're going to go up the ladder to your current managers and say, hey, by the way, these people are underperforming and I'm upset about their underperformance. But if you're on this call, here's my bet, is you're not on this call to sell out people to the upper management. You're on this call because you want to 10x your life. You want to help other people perform to their highest levels. Correct. So my encouragement to you is not to go to them and tell them what they're doing wrong. My encouragement to you is to go to them and ask them a question. And that question should be geared around the lines of like, hey, Susie, you know what? I see you produce X. Are you happy with what you produced? Is this the best thing you could have brought to the table? Do you see that question? It's not a judgmental question. It's now a question of the fact, hey, Susie, are you happy with what you brought to the table? Do you feel this is your best performance? It's not contradictory. It's not trying to sell them under the table to the management. It's actually calling the depths out of them. Great leaders, no matter if you're leading from the top, from the middle, or the bottom, I guarantee you this, I work with some of the top leaders on the planet. Ken can attest to this. And the reality is this: every great leader, whether you're from the bottom, or the middle, or the top, is always found in the fact, are you calling the best out of people, or are you actually selling them out to the highest bidder? There's two ways to advance. One is actually by literally doing what you do best, literally one, and the actually is actually helping the ones that are with you, help them do their best. And guess what? Those people, when you help them do their best, guess what's the story they end up telling to your peers? By the way, she helped me perform my best. She asked me a question and she's just my peer. Guess where that's going to go? It's going to go to management. Yep. And they're going to see the fact that you called the best out of them, that you didn't rise up to the top and say, hey, by the way, you pointed the finger at them. They're going to see the fact that you called the best out of them. And what's going to happen is they're going to point the finger to the management and they're going to point it back at you. That's leadership 101.
That's good. That's good. Anybody else, guys? Rosa, does that help you, sweetheart?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else, guys? We'll take one more, and then we're gonna hop off tonight, and then we'll send you guys some information on what we're gonna shoot next week. Anybody else, guys?
I just want to say that was awesome. The whole triangulation, Nate, your piece. I mean, just straight nuggets right there. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Ken, I love you. Nate, Rebecca, thank you guys. And let's go, Jocelyn Group.
Come on, baby. Hey, listen, guys, appreciate you guys being on Crazy Jerry. I see you, big boy. I had to mute you so you didn't.
Antonio, you look great, by the way. I see your face, bro. You look good, man. I love that gray beard, baby. Let's go.
He does. He got that salt and pepper beard rolling. So, hey, Logan Hendrick, you got a camera down there, big boy? Logan is one of my young guys on my team.
Let's go, Logan.
You better not say roll tide or I'll fire it.
Oh, yeah.
Roll tide is what I'm talking about.
Oh, no. He's fired.
Better 10X his technology, Kim.
Yeah,
Hey, he's from Alabama, guys. They don't know what 10X means yet. We're trying to teach them.
Matter of fact, guys, let me tell you about this. How when I say passion attracts the right people, this is a perfect example. So my daughter, we had some of her old dorm furniture to sell. Logan, your mom came to me when? Like June, July, August?
Yeah, like June.
I put it on Let Go app. His mom comes to my house to buy a dresser or something. So I'm selling her this dresser, and she's like, well, hey, what do you do? Well, let me tell you what I do. So I handed her my business card. Hey, I own my real estate team. This, blah, 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 and I'm just going boom, 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 boom. And I'm just telling her, I'm casting business. She was like, dude, that's so awesome. You just moved here out of the blue, and you did this for your daughter, and you're doing this much business, and blah, 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 blah. She goes, man, my son has just started in the real estate business, and he's been there for about 3 or 4 months, and he hasn't done any business yet. Can I give him your card? This was hot. It was like July, August. So fast forward past boot camp to, was it November, December? Look, it was December because I was on the way home from that $1 million house I put under contract in December.
Right.
In the last week in November, first week in December.
I called you on January 26th.
Okay, yep. So he calls me and says, hey, Ken, this is Logan. You gave my mom your card last fall or last summer when she bought some furniture, and I've got my license. I've been working for 6 months, and I haven't done any business yet. Dude, we spent an hour and 40 minutes on the phone I was driving from Atlanta back to Birmingham.
When you hired me.
I spent an hour and 40 minutes on the phone with him talking about my vision, how we started this company, about 10X, about Grant. He knew who Grant was already. And so, Logan, you've been with me for how long? He just filled his paperwork out, 2-3 days ago?
Yeah, so about like 2 months, 1 month and a half, 2 months, something like that.
And how many deals are you working on with me right now already?
We're trying to get about 3 popping off here.
Right. And hadn't he been with me for 4 or 5 weeks, and he's already got 3 deals we're working on. And he hadn't closed anything in 6 months. So when I talk about passion attracts the right people, guys, listen, it is as simple as his mom buying a piece of furniture off of Let Go. I mean, you have no idea the people that you meet every single day. And again, it goes back to passionate people add value. I said, here's my card. If there's anything I can do to help your son, you let me know. If I need to have coffee with him, if I need to have a phone call with him to help in his real estate business. I mean, I've closed, like C-Rock, I did about $80 million a year in my mortgage company. And then I did 3, 3.5, 5.5, and 8 million this year. This is just my 3rd year back in the real estate business. And so I said, if there's anything I can do to help him, you let me know. I'd love to help. And now he's sitting on a Zoom call in freaking March the 11th, and he's already got deals he's about to close. That's unbelievable, guys. I mean, he is the poster child for everything I talked about tonight. Literally is the poster child for everything I talked about. So, anything else, guys? We good?
No, I'm good, man.
Hey, I do see my guy out there, Troy Milliken, top right-hand corner. He's a new Grant Cardone licensee.
Let's go, Troy.
My guy, Troy. Hey, great to see everybody. Good to have you guys on here. Cynthia, Solana.
Hey, Ken, as your MC, can I do a pitch real quick?
Pitch it, baby.
Hey, the only pitch we have is next Wednesday, 8:07, same time. We're going to keep bringing value. There's no ask right now. There's nothing more than this. Hey, next Wednesday, if you like what you heard tonight, we're going to bring some more top-level leaders to the table, like Andy Mack, Ken, And, you know, I think hopefully David's going to be with us next week. If not, we got to be like Scott Mousy, Scott Reyes, people you haven't heard of, man, that are part of the 10X community, but are doing great things. So every Wednesday night at 8:07, we did 8:07. Everybody's asking why 8:07. The reason why I did 8:07 is because you're asking why we did 8:07. That's exactly why we're doing 8:07 start time. That's why we did it. Learn from that. But other than that, so next Wednesday night, 8:07, I'm going to be your MC most every week. And, you know, Ken's the freaking fearless leader of us all. Rebecca's the queen that's making all this happen behind the scenes. We want to let y'all know, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing here. And next week at 8:07, same time, same place, 8:07 Eastern, we're going to be adding value, bringing the best to the table, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. There's no questions asked. There's no fee to this webinar. There never will be. We're excited you're here, and let's keep getting after it. Hey,
real quick,
y'all being a part.
Helen Delaney, can you say like 2 or 3 sentences in that Aussie accent for us before we go bye-bye?
Hi, Ken. Hi, everybody. Helen from Australia here, if you couldn't guess.
My girl.
Helen, and tell everybody what you just did in the last week or two.
So I've only been on the 10X train for about 7 months. So I met Grant in July or August last year when he was here in Sydney. Since then, I've read all the books, went straight into boot camp, Cardone U, tripled my income in the last quarter before last year. Just come to Vegas for my first ever GrowthCon and signed up as first ever female Australian licensee.
Come on, girl. Rocking it. Well, hey, guys, listen, we appreciate you guys. Community is huge for us. Everybody that took time to be on tonight. Lynn Grizzle's actually on. Lynn's actually she'll be one of our new agents in a couple months. She's retiring from the school system, knows everybody in the county she lives in. She's going to be like the number one. She'll be rookie of the year, Lynn. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be rookie of the year out of about 4,000 plus agents next year.
Hey, shout out Ken to Devin Bullard too, man. Devin's on here, man. My boy. Yeah.
Yeah, Devin's crushing it too. He's one of the guys in my accountability.
C-Rob!
Crushing it. But hey, guys, we appreciate you guys. Sean Cohen. Sean's got the coolest hair and the coolest pool and pad in the United States of America, dude. I'm moving to Salt Lake just so I can hang out with Sean's hair.
Man, Jerry, Regina, Eddie, Cynthia, freaking, we got you. Stan, we see you. Don't you worry, Jerry. We see you too. Logan, we see you. We see you, Rosa. David, we see you. We
Kristen,
see all y'all. All great. Marina, we see you, girl.
Kristen
Thank
Gill,
you all for joining.
girl. You got this.
Hey,
love
Troy,
all you guys.
Hey, love you guys. 10X, baby. What's up? Somebody.
Got you.
Listen, you guys, y'all have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you guys back next Wednesday, 8:07. Hey, tell somebody when we share this for next week, man, reshare this with us, guys. Help us.
Let's go.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Let's go. Appreciate you, man.